So first of all, again, I was very proud of the 20% affordable housing increase, and I would say we should go up to 25%. The Summer Vision and the MAPC studies have all said that we need regionally 30% affordable housing in order to maintain the population that we have today, to not have displacement. So this affects lower class people, it affects people struggling just to survive, it affects middle class people who are trying to raise a family here, start a family. My fiance and I would like to own a home in the city, and it's just out of reach. We put in 4 offers for homes in this community, and we cannot get a deal. So it affects middle class, it affects lower class, it affects long-time homeowners and people who own their properties, because the taxes are going up in this community. And what the plan, as I've sat in board meetings, I've seen that the plan to raise taxes incrementally every year for the next 30 years, to pay for the high school, to pay for taxes, to pay for the water bills. The plan is to increase everything, and that's the last stage of gentrification, where people who own their homes and they want to stay in this community, they can't do that anymore. And I don't see a real plan to address that. There's only one thing we can really do, well, there's several things. Increase the affordable housing stock. I'd like to look into right of first refusal, which would be a person whose house is being converted. They have the first option to buy that house. It doesn't cost the homeowner anything. It doesn't cost the city anything, but it gives that person the option to buy if they're capable of buying. And then the main thing, the number one issue in the city in terms of displacement, is economic inequality. The number one reason why your taxes are going up, the reason why people can't afford to live here in one of the most prosperous times in the history of the city, is because the homeowners are paying the overwhelming burden. 70% of all taxes are paid by homeowners in the city. And that trickles down to the renters as well. And we have billion-dollar interests in the city that are getting tax deals. Assembly Square got $50 million, $200 million for infrastructure, for Union Square. Partners Healthcare got an amazing deal on taxes, Tufts University. These are the billion-dollar institutions that we see everywhere in the city. And they need to pay their fair share. If we had that happen, then we could deal with a lot of issues.
Thank you, Matt. Elio.
Families, the elderly, disabled, and veterans are the ones feeling the pinch. As I've been going door to door, I got people on fixed incomes that I speak with who cannot afford to live here, who've been here 50, 60 years. It's not acceptable. A person in Maroon Square, he's selling his home, and it's becoming a bidding war. All right, we can't afford to have that. A developer wants to come in and buy a 3-family home. It becomes a bidding war. I mean, that's unacceptable. It's driving the families out. Can't afford to have that. We need to hold developers to their feet, the fight to their feet. Assembly Square, Tufts, they need to start paying their fair share. Because right now, you know who's paying their fair share? The people that are working every day. Okay, I run a business. Okay, I know how it is to pay my taxes. I know how it is to make a payment, and it's unacceptable. I mean, I employ families who will say to me, I can't live here, I can't live in Somerville. I have to move out to Lynn, right, where my rent is half the amount that it is in Somerville. So, you know, it's nice to build, but if you can't afford to live here, you're gonna pass the buck on to the tenant who's paying $1,800 for an affordable housing unit. Well, that's unaffordable. Can somebody afford to pay $1,800 and then pay all your you know, the bills that come with it? No. So we need to make it affordable to live in this city, and we need to hold the developers' feet to the fire, because ultimately they're the ones that are going to come in, they're going to cash in, and they're going to say bye-bye to Somerville, and they're going to go to the next town and they can do the same.
Thank you, Elio. So, moderator gets to ask a follow-up to that. Part of that question was, what's the right mix? Do we build all affordable housing that is rental only? Or do we build affordable housing that can be purchased by low-income, middle-income families? Because I think I've heard it many, many times, and many people in the audience have heard it, is that middle class is getting priced out of here as well. Matt, you wanna take it?
Yes, well, I'd say, again, MAPC and the Summer Vision all said that 30% is what's necessary to maintain the population. The city has a plan of building 6,000 to 9,000 new units in the city. I'd feel a lot better about that if I knew that there were going to be affordable units. Home ownership is a very important thing to me, which is why I proudly supported the affordable housing development on the corner of Glen and Tuff Street, which is affordable ownership. So it has 3 tiers, it has low income, it has middle income, and it has market rate. They're all ownership. It allows people the opportunity to own their homes, and they would, be vested in this community. So I think that's something that I'd like to see happen. I definitely think it's a balance. People want to own their homes, some people don't want to own their homes. It's the housing stock that's the issue. So we need more units.
Thank you, Matt. Elio?
I would like to see how many people at the corner of Tuff Street and Glen Street that are Somerville residents that have applied, that are getting those units. From the last time I inquired, none are getting it. And that's wrong, because Somerville residents should be getting Somerville homes and Somerville units that are being built affordable. We'll leave it at that.
I think that's completely inaccurate, Elio. First of all, the city does have requirements for residential permission. People have that permitted. We prioritize Somerville residents first. State and federal housing does not allow us to do that by law. If you're going to put affordable housing on your platform and on your campaign, you should know that.
Well, Matt, I think that the crunch that we have in the city and in this ward especially, we should encourage more Somerville residents to be applying for these affordable housing units.
We do that.
Because from the last time I checked, not one Somerville resident is getting a unit.
How do you check?
At Cross and Thompson.
That's not accurate.